in Team XP, experience, not spelled with an A, spelled with an E, experience, best of 7, so that I can hopefully get better at casting, and because it's always fun. This is actually my best matchup. It's a very interesting matchup, honestly, because at the moment there's quite a bit of worry about imbalance for Terran. They don't seem to be able to put on any early pressure, which lets the Zerg get way far ahead early in the game. So yeah, in the top left we have XpRallerbabs for, I think, Team XP, which I'm going to be calling Babs in the baby blue. Actually, it's not in the baby; it's in the navy blue. And down here in the bottom right we have Oxy, also for Team XP, and he's in the red. So this Antigua shipyard is a very well tested map nowadays, because it's been in pretty much every single tournament map pool since it came out on the Blizzard ladder. It's probably one of their most successful Blizzard maps, to be honest. And it's reasonably good because you've got a very easy natural to capture. You've got a reasonably easy third, but the problem is after that it's actually impossible to get any further expansions, really, because any fourths are very hard to get and any fifths are almost impossible, because there's so many different ways of attacking. There's many hard ways of actually defending them. So what we're expecting kind of here is for the Zerg to go for a 15 hatch, which is done right now, which will then be followed up by a reasonably timed pool, normally on about 16, maybe 17 if he's feeling like droning up a lot, and that will let him get an incredibly strong economy, and it will be followed up by a very fast third if he's planning on if he scouts a fast expansion by the Terran, which actually looks like it's coming up. So the common build at the moment is 1 racks into expansion, or you can go for a very fast expansion, so expansion before barracks, but that will let the Zerg abuse it a lot more and get that incredibly fast third, because you can't put any pressure on whatsoever. So this drone is going to have completed a full scout and then got out again, which actually puts him quite far ahead because he knows exactly what's going on in the Terran's base. So this Overlord has actually been placed here so he can scout not only these 2 gases which you do Zerg vs Protoss, but also the entire base if he wants to fly in. He'll be able to get incredibly good scouting path. So this SEV is now pulling up and getting a full scout off on the base, because there's not actually anything you can do to prevent it at this moment. The question is, will he make any Zerglings in order to actually kill the SEV? The answer is no. So he's going to be going for no real map control at this moment. So he's probably actually going to be going for 4 queens or 6 queens, which allows him to creep incredibly effectively, at the same time being effective at defending from most early pushes, because of the increased queen range. So it looks like the Terran is now going for 2 refineries, followed by 2 more barracks, to put him up to 3. So I think he'll be going for a reasonably fast timing push, which could include stim and shields, or it could go on to a factory. It depends on what he wants to do. Both of them are incredibly viable at the moment. Tech Lab going down here, so again it still could be either. Zerg's now taken 2 gases and he's making 2 more queens, and I don't think he has yet made a single Zergling, so he is now already ahead in terms of SEV to worker production, and he's actually doing quite well at not becoming supply blocked, which is incredibly good for him. So a small group of Marines now moving out here to try and put on some pressure, scout, kill some Overlords if they can, and whatever they do, get some map control and scout what the Zerg's doing. He scouted that there's no 3rd base, which is very good for him. I love this SCV patrol here, because it means he knows exactly what the Zerg can't be doing. So he knows that there is a capability for some Zerglings, and he knows what they can do. So this tech lab's actually then gone on to make combat shields. So I would think that he'd be doing a normal timing push, but if he was, then he'd make stim packs. That's a much longer upgrade. So it's quite possible that he's going for some sort of reactor helium play, as we see here, which will probably, it could actually even be a Marauder Marine helium play, not sure, or even drops. We'll see as the buildings continue to be produced. So these Marines are still alive on the map, preventing any map control. But the Zerg is going to slowly get a lot more map control as he spreads these creep tumors, which are incredibly effective. But he hasn't yet managed to take his third, which he wants to start being able to do, because it gives him so much extra lava production. But it doesn't actually look like he wants to do that, because he has this Roach Warren up, he has the Baneling nest up, he has the Zerglings out, he has the Zergling speed. So he's probably going to actually be going for a Zergling Baneling Roach bust, I think. So the Terran's now actually moving out and using the same tech lab as he was before to get the combat shields. He's now upgrading stim, and I think he's going to be going full bio. He's getting these medevacs and marines. It's an interesting style as to whether you want to go bio with marauders or without marauders. They're both viable, but they are incredibly hard to micro, because you have to control every single unit, because a single Baneling can blow up your entire army if you let it. So he's now getting this wall off done as he finishes up his third, and siege tech is coming up to allow him to get a very defensive position on the map. Zerg is now making more Banelings, so he's going to be pushing up this ramp in a minute. With these 7, 8 that he's got now, he should be able to push up through the bunker. And then with these roaches and these Zerglings, he'll be able to push up through. So it's going up right now. The bunker's gone down, the Zergling's streaming in. There's 2 more bunkers up there though, so he won't actually be able to do any damage. SCV's come off to repair, and this could actually be deflected very efficiently, as the roaches are all just move commanding. So this is incredibly bad for Zerg, because he's now behind on economy and on his army supply. And if we look at the loss count, he's lost nearly 2,000 more resources than the Terran has, which is very bad, as Terran's actually even now able to fly off his 3rd command center, plant it here, and be in an incredibly commanding position for the rest of the game, as he can put his siege tanks all around this area to be able to prevent any harassment coming in through this main channel, although he will have some difficulty defending up this ramp here. Zerg's left some units in the centre, so he can just scout. I don't think he should have left so many, maybe a couple of Zerglings, because he can lose all of his army. Well, a large part of his army if he's not careful. So this 3rd hatchery has now come up. I'd like to see a macro hatch, because he's floating nearly 1,500 minerals, which isn't very good, but he's got very good upgrades coming along. Actually, they're quite slow. A drop's now coming in for Terran, but it looks like it's going to be deflected very efficiently. I would like to see the Terran pick up a lot more, and now 2 spores coming up for Zerg, so it's going to be very hard for him to drop again in the same place without being inefficient with his